Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, of the brave.
Thank you all for coming on this soon-to-be beautiful morning for their second annual Yellow Springs 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb here at beautiful Antioch College, our host for the day. All the money raised goes to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. You're going to hear about them in a little bit. But my job is also to say thank you to all our sponsors. So, big thank you. They're all over the place. They're in the back of your shirts. If you see some of the sponsors, please say thanks. But we got a bunch who get to be thanked. Primarily Premier Health, who's our commissioner level sponsor. Also Jessup Wealth Management, our chief level sponsor. The two of them make this possible, so big round of applause for both Jessup and Premier. Also to our SCBA sponsor, Draeger Safety, to the sponsor of the registration area, Service Master Restore by Angler Construction, and all their other help that they do. Yes, good job, Holly. The Greene County Fire Chiefs Council, who are sponsoring the 4th floor rehab lounge, which is almost as exciting as it sounds. It's true. The Hilton Garden Inn for our after party today at 5 p.m. in Beaver Creek. Other drinks and snacks today. Thank you, California Casualty. And of course, United States Marine Incorporated. Look them up. They do cool things. Even Flow, Antioch College, Miami Township Fire Rescue, your t-shirt sponsor today. So be nice to our logo on your sleeve. YSI, Xylem brand, Eamon's Garage, MSA Architects, P&R Communications, Dayton Freight, Lion Apparel, WYSO, our media sponsor, the Yellow Springs Chamber of Commerce, and Karen Wintrow, who couldn't be here today but sends her greetings, the Miami Township Firefighters Association, Morris Bean and Company, and finally lunch sponsor, Greene Memorial Hospital and Soin Medical Center. And Greene is also doing our first aid, so hopefully you won't need them, but if you do, they're over there waving. And there's a bunch of other sponsors as well. So thank you all for coming out.
Mayor Dave Filbert.
14 years ago, there were tears. There were tears like what you're feeling on your faces today. Only the tears that are on your face today come from above. And those drops are a reminder of the people who lost loved ones. There's a fountain at the memorial now dedicated to the men and women who lost their lives during 9/11. And that fountain reminds us today with the water of the tears that fell on that day. Those were the words that Pope Francis spoke yesterday when he spoke at the memorial. He also called on men and women and of all faiths, of all religions, to come and to share in peace. For on that day and on the days after that, there was no discrimination about who was whom. But they were men and women in solidarity for a common cause. You folks represent the people who died on that day, saving others. Running upstairs, as you are symbolically going to be running today, they never returned. They died in 9/11. So that others might live. And so we commemorate that today And we thank you all for being here. May God bless you all. Thank you very much.
I'm not here as a Lion Apparel, but more often as the member of the board of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. It is my honor to bring greetings from the Executive Director, Ron Sarnicki, and also to the Chairman of the Board, Chief Denny Compton. We thank you for all your work. I know today will be, some people will think it's fun, others but to all of you, it's a labor of love. The National Fallen Firefighters Foundation will have its Memorial Weekend this coming Sunday, where we will honor all of those who died in the line of duty in 2014. The NFFF does other things other than just the Memorial Weekend. It is our function to support the survivors, their families, to educate all firefighters on the idea of everyone comes home, stress management, and many, 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 many other things. We have camps for children from the survivor families. So what you do and how you are helping us raise money for the foundation, we truly appreciate. All of the money goes to, I would say, some very good causes, and it helps all of the first responders in the United States. So again, thank you all for coming, thank you all for participating, and I hope that I can have a chance to see you in the years to come. Thank you again.
From Antioch College is Matt Desjardins.
Everybody, I'll keep my remarks brief, but just on behalf of Antioch College and President Mark Roosevelt, I want to welcome everybody here today. It's great to be back in Main Hall for this event. Next week we'll be welcoming 66 new students to campus, so the college is alive and thriving again, and thank you all for being here to be a part of that recreation today. Thank you again to Chief Altman and Miami Township Fire and Rescue. This is a great event. We're happy that it's here at Antioch College this year, and I want to wish everybody good luck that's running in the event.
This is Mandy Bai. I am a care flight nurse. I'm also the outreach manager and a paramedic. I did have a big speech prepared, and I'm just going to chuck it out the window because that's what I do. I like to roll with it. So I wanted to say thank you for having us out here today. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be out here with everyone that is committed to commemorating this event and time. As first responders, we see what happens day in and day out, and to be there at 9/11 to see people running out while our first responders are running in, that truly just speaks to the quality of what we do. So I just want to say thank you for doing what you do and having us here today.
We have Sharon Purdy from Fire Service Survivor National Fallen Fighter Foundation.
Good morning. What an amazing group. Thank you very much. I bring you warm greetings from the Executive Director, Chief Ron Sarnicki, and also Chief of Staff, Linda Hurley from the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation in Emmitsburg, Maryland. What made you want to come? And I talked to two young men who were young enough to be my child, since I'm really old. And the one looked at me straight in the eye and he said, because it's out of respect for those who lost their lives on 9/11. You can't ask for more than that. Thank you so much for doing that for us today. I can remember the evening of 9/11 after I'd been glued to the television all day, crying, sobbing. I had lost my husband in the line of duty a year earlier. And a few weeks from that day, I was going to be venturing to Maryland when Lee's name was going to be added amongst those who had died in the line of duty. Little did I realize that when I went to Emmitsburg that next few weeks, that I would be so overwhelmed by the love and support of this amazing organization that the following year, when those 343 families honored their firefighters, I was there as a volunteer to assist them. I want to tell you that I'm one of the lucky survivors. I did not get the phone call. I did not get the knock on the door. You see, I was senior paramedic in charge of EMS that night, and I was with my husband when he left me. I was able to tell him that I loved him, and I would try to understand if he left me. and he was gone. My life has been busy with being a volunteer with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, and it couldn't be a more fulfilling job to be a volunteer for this amazing group.
And now if we could have a word from Chaplain Jerry Medic from the Bethel Township Fire Department.
Good morning. Fellow firefighters, EMTs, law enforcement officers, military personnel, and community members. I am honored to be a part of this ceremony. As well as 9/11, this day will always have a place in my heart. Many of us know exactly where we were on 9/11. Much like today, the weather is beautiful. We do have a little light rain, but the sun is shining through. Unfortunately, little did we know that at 8:46 a.m., our lives would forever be changed. This was the time that Flight 11 struck the North Tower. Shortly after, hundreds of New York's finest and bravest responded to the call to the Trade Center. Evacuations began to take place by the Port Authority officers that were already nearby. As those evacuations were taking place and many people were exiting the tower, there were also many people rushing in. These people were our brave FDNY firefighters, the NYPD police officers, and the Port Authority officers. At 9:03 a.m., a second plane, Flight 175, struck the South Tower. This brought numerous more responders to the scene. In total, there were over 2,000 police officers, over 100 EMS units, 112 engines, 58 ladders, 5 rescue companies, 7 squad companies, and multiple chiefs and command officers. You must believe the efforts of these responders saved countless lives that day. At 9:37, Flight 77 struck the Pentagon, killing all the passengers on board and 125 military personnel. At 10:07 a.m., as the heroes were diligently working at Ground Zero, there were also heroes in the making in Pennsylvania. These were the passengers on board Flight 93 who engaged the terrorists that had taken over their plane. By doing so, there is no doubt they also saved countless lives that day by sacrificing their own. As we very well know, they were not the only lives that were sacrificed that day. There were 343 firefighters, 71 police officers, which included 23 from the NYPD and 37 from the Port Authority, 8 EMT and paramedics from area hospitals and private EMS companies. These first responders paid the ultimate sacrifice, trying to protect and serve their fellow man. There is no doubt that each of these first responders standing before me today would most likely have done the same thing. We have a motto in the fire service: everybody goes home. I'm sure there was a point on 9/11 that many first responders knew that they were not going to make it home that day. They continue to push on in order to serve their duties. One of these men, in which I will climb for today, is FDNY Chaplain Michael Judge. Although many lives had already been taken, Chaplain Judge was the first recorded death of 9/11. He arrived at the North Tower command post, praying for those that lost their lives along the way, and continued to pray while in the tower. It is reported he was repeatedly praying, "Jesus, Please end this right now. God, please end this. As the South Tower collapsed at 9:59 a.m., Chaplain Judge was struck in the head by falling debris. His prayers were answered, and eventually the events of 9/11 ended. Many were called home to be with the Lord. I will conclude today with a prayer from Michael Judge, a statement, and then a prayer of my own. And at the end of the prayer, we will have a moment of silence to honor our fallen brothers. The prayer from Michael Judge is, and this has a special meaning to my heart because I truly believe this. Lord, take me where you want me to go. Let me meet who you want me to meet. Tell me what you want me to say, and keep me out of your way. For those of us that are here awaiting our day to be called home, we will never forget. This is why we climb.
Follow Jason in. He'll be leading the way with the flag. When you come down the hall here, you're going to make a left, go to the end, and start up the stairs. It's a pretty easy course. There's 4 stair towers. You're going up 2, you're coming down 2. But have fun, and remember, it's about these guys. So please, keep these guys. Keep them in their hearts. And thank you very much.
Firefighter Gerard P. Dewin. Firefighter Jeff A. Paluzzo.
Battalion Chief, Special Operations Center, John Pililio. Battalion Chief, Battalion 4, Matthew Ryan.
Firefighter Michael Carroll. Firefighter Timothy McSweeney.
Firefighter Thomas Gambino Jr. Firefighter John Kevin McAvoy. Firefighter Christopher Alexander Santora.
Firefighter Hector Tirado. Firefighter Dennis Germain. Joseph Levy, ladder 15. Donald J. Burns, Citywide Tour Commander.
Lieutenant Margiotta, Firefighter McShane, Firefighter Coyle, and Battalion Chief 7, Oriole Palmer.